the place on fire. Let's get higher. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another crime scene. I'ma make it burn. I'ma make it burn. Yeah, I'ma make it burn. 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 I'ma make it burn.
Welcome to the show. Gaming's what I know. You will clearly see when you challenge me. Once you step inside, there is nowhere to hide. They will clap and cheer as you wipe your tears. Set fire to your screen with a little bit of gasoline. Time to start the show. 3, 2, 1, let's go! Welcome to the show. My name's Nix, don't you know? The classic mystery game clues our show on gaming tips review. Gaming tips for you. Please, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe the view. The gaming tips review. Now without further ado, the gaming tips review. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're going to play some Clue, and not just any Clue. It's going to be Clue from 1998, way back on the PC. You know, that free game that kind of came with the cereal way back when? Anyway, there was a free giveaway in cereal, a bunch of computer game software back in 1998, and fortunately enough, I still held the disc all this time, and a few scratches on it, but it survived, and it plays still on my PC. So we're gonna go ahead and boot this bad boy up. So we're gonna go ahead and just adjust my audio settings here. So we'll get all this set up right away. Okay, so that's all good, so we don't get any echo from my voice. So we're gonna pause that, let the desktop audio come through because it's a game. And we're gonna go boot this up. Here we go. Oh boy. It's scary time. Ooh. It's a mystery. Wow. Oh no! Oh no, a murder took place. A murder. Alright, we gotta find out who murdered Mr. Bodie. Because that's who was murdered. So, let's go ahead and start the game. So this is just the traditional menu that just pops in with this old PC game. So, yeah, it has the preferences, just, options. Just quickly do that. Not going to make any adjustments here. And then it's got rules, how to play. I think we all know how to play Clue. If not, you'll learn by watching the game play. We're not going to sit here and explain it. Then you got credits for the game, and then start the game. Now, I'll ask you if you want to network with other machines, play locally. There is no servers, so we can't play online. So just get an error message. So I am dressed in yellow, so we're going to be Colonel Mustard. Now, you're going to see that I'm going to just put this character in for my name. I can't actually put my name in. For some reason, the keyboard is not compatible with the game. Don't ask me why. I just have to put in a character just so it lets me hit the OK button. So we'll just put the $ there, right there, and we'll go from there. So the rules of engagement today versus the PC, it's going to be the first of 3 victories. And we're going to start off with a 4-player game, and then with each victory, we'll increase the player count. And then we'll go from there. So we'll just put this on normal. And you can play along at home too when you're watching and see if you can solve the mystery before I do, and see if you can outscore me. Let's see what happens. This will be fun. Okay, so without further ado, let's start up the game. And we're gonna go with a classic die roll. We have 2 options here. This is sort of just like move based. You have like move points, and then you have you use your move points until you have no more points left, and then you go to the next person's turn. But we'll just go with a classic die roll to make it simple. Everybody remembers a classic die roll, traditional board game. So this is Mr. Bodhi right here. This is his spirit, and he knows who killed him, where, and with what. So he places the cards into the suitcase, shuffles them up. You know, look at that attitude. He's just like, yep, I know which one did it. Here you go, you expletive word. Alright, so we have some classic jazz music we get to listen to while we play this, so that's pretty awesome. And I love this 3-dimensional look, this isometric 3-dimensional look. This is one of the things I loved about this old Clue version. And as well as when you make accusations, you'll be able to see cutscenes. I'm just going to turn the volume down because that's loud in my ear. Probably sounds good on the recording. Alright, I got to turn that down. Okay. That's perfect. Okay, so first off, before we start, I want to see what cards we have in the that we're holding here. So in a 4-player game, I'm going to have more cards. So I've got 5 cards on hand, so I'm going to go into my cards here. And okay, so this is good. So I know the murder weapon is going to be the candlestick, the revolver, or the pipe. So that's going to help me. But what I don't know is the who, and I have no player cards. I have 2 location cards, and I just got to be careful not to tip my hand, and because I don't want to let the computer know what cards I'm holding. So I got to make sure I don't throw those on the accusations. Let's see what happens. All right. So there's the overview of the board. So that gives you a nice view. So I'm going to roll the dice, and then just move. Switch back, and we'll click on my player piece there, and then let the computer's turn go, and we'll wait for us to get into a room so we can throw some accusations around. They're gonna be flying everywhere. Left, right, and center. You did this. But you have to agree with me, this is one of the best Clue versions I've ever played on PC. It's fantastic.
Please roll the die.
I think it still holds up after all this time. Oh my god, what a crappy dice roll. Alright, we gotta pay attention to see what she's accusing me with a revolver in the ballroom.
Mr. Green cannot.
So we gotta pay attention to who's gonna disprove.
Miss Scarlet
So
can
Miss
disprove
Scarlet
the
can
suggestion.
disprove that. Revolver in the ballroom. Well, I have neither of those cards. Let's improve with the knife.
Colonel Mustard
be able to
can
disprove
disprove
that.
the suggestion.
Was not with the knife. Not with
Colonel
the knife.
Mustard, it is your turn.
So I am in
Please
the,
roll the die or
ballroom.
make a suggestion.
We should make a suggestion since we're in here. So we don't have any location cards. Let's check that. I'll do Mr. Green with the revolver. So they already accused
Mrs.
the
White
revolver.
can disprove the suggestion.
Okay, so it's not in the ballroom. So we'll click that. So Mrs. White has that. There we go. Okay, let's go to the next turn. Okay, she doesn't get to accuse this turn. She has to wait till next turn, but she's blocking the door though, going in there. Because I'm in the ballroom, that would be my next roll. If I rolled over a 3,
Miss
I would go into the
Scarlet cannot
conservatory.
disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove
Miss
the
Peacock
suggestion.
with the revolver, they're on to something. So, Miss White would have shown the ballroom, so it might be Miss
It
Peacock
is your turn.
with the revolver.
Please roll the die.
So let's put a pin in that. Let's put a pin in that. Because that last accusation went through everybody and it landed on Miss White to disprove that, and she probably flashed the ballroom card. She may have the other cards, but I'm just gonna put a pin in these two because that might be the right call. Alright, so where do I want to go? Well, I could go to the lounge. Miss White's gonna move on her next turn, so I do want to head into the conservatory, and I want to throw an accusation that was Miss Peacock with a revolver in the conservatory and see what happens. Because I have the conservatory card, so someone's gonna have to show me those other 2 cards to disprove that. So let's. Okay, Miss White thinks it's herself with the wrench. Well,
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
yes, I will tell you that it wasn't with the wrench. I'll tell you that. Okay, Mr. Green's turn. Right. He's gonna take a walk. All right. Where's Miss Scarlet gonna go? Okay, she's going to the lounge. Mr. Green with the candlestick tonight. That was a brutal
Colonel
hit.
Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Oh man.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Let's go to the conservatory and make this accusation. I want to say Miss Peacock with, what would we say, a revolver. In the conservatory!
Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Okay. So it's not her. I still think it's the revolver, though. I'm being accused. What did I do?
Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, it wasn't me. But that's where I was going to go next turn anyway. I was going to go to the lounge. I'm going to throw an accusation in there.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die, use the secret passage, or make a suggestion.
We'll do Mrs. White, the revolver, in the lounge. Let's see what happens.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green
On to something.
cannot disprove
Miss
the
Scarlet.
suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion.
What? What? So, Miss White with the revolver in the lounge because nobody disproved it. Miss White, we're gonna accuse here with the revolver. The lounge. Now, if you got that before me, kudos to you. And you're up 1 point. If I got this before you did, I'm up 1 point on you. Alright, here we go. Let's see if I'm right.
Colonel Mustard has
accused correctly. Yes. I'm up 1 game against the PC, and 1 game up against whoever didn't guess it before me in the community, whoever's watching this right now. Alright, perfect. Get in there, Miss White, you criminal. Oh, and she's gonna dust the toilet. I don't know if that's a good idea. That's just full of condensation, I would think. That's the reservoir tank. Not gonna be much dusting there. Alright, here we go. Round 2. Okay, so we're gonna be Colonel Mustard again. This time, computer. We're gonna add another character. Alright, here we go. Let's go game number 2. It's terrifying. Here we go. Let's see what cards they left me with. Okay, kitchen, Colonel Mustard. Oh, hey, it's not me. It wasn't me. I got 3 location cards. But yeah, 1 player card, which is myself. Oh, I got a 6. Okay, I just switch to this view to make it easier for me to move. Alright, we'll just position ourselves there. Alright, let's go. Yes, I should end the turn. This is fantastic. So which one was the murderer this time? We know it's not me! Colonel Mustard did not do anything of the like. Colonel
Mustard, it is your turn.
Okay, alright, let's study our cards again. Let's see where we want to go. So we know it's not the conservatory, library, or the kitchen. We probably want to head into the dining room. So we'll go and do that first. Head in here. We'll make an accusation fly. Let's see who we want to accuse. Professor Plume. Candlestick. Just throw that in there. I don't want to use any of my cards right now. I don't want the PC to pick up
Mrs.
on it.
White can disprove the suggestion.
Well, that was easy. Okay, definitely not the candlestick. Alright, moving on. Oh wow, Mrs. White's getting terrible rolls. She's had 2 turns and she's only moved 2 spaces. Mr. Green hasn't gone into anything yet. Neither is Miss Peacock. Miss Scarlet. Wow, no one's gone into a room yet but me.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
This is fantastic. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into the lounge now. We can just, move over there. Alright, let's see what we got here. So let's throw another accusation out there. Do Professor Plume again, because nobody disproved that. They just gave me a weapon. Let's do pipe this time.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green can disprove the suggestion.
No one's giving me location or player. It's always the weapon. So Mr. Green's got this card. Okay. Still a long way of finding out the who, but we're getting close to the what and the how. Or sure, that's the same thing. Sorry, the how. I think people are catching on that might be Professor
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
Well, she immediately disproves it. Probably the rope or that location.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, we gotta give her location. Wrench in the lounge.
Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please, roll the die or use the secret passage.
We're gonna use the secret passage. Let's see if we can get more here. 'Cause no one's giving me Professor Plume. Alright, but let's I'm gonna pick wrench because everybody was accusing a wrench, so let's see if I get a wrench card. Oh, Professor Plume.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss
Oh wow, that
Scarlet
went
can
through
disprove
everybody
the
up to
suggestion.
Scarlet. I think the wrench might be it. We're gonna put a pin in the wrench, but now we know it's not Professor Plume. Miss Scarlet's got that card. Let's analyze that. So yeah. So I definitely think it's the wrench. Oh! They think it's me in the ballroom.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can
I can
disprove the
disprove it.
suggestion.
It was not me. I'll give him location, not person. Let's wait with the knife.
Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, immediately. Immediately disproves it. Oh, what a brutal strike.
Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion.
with the wrench in the
Mrs.
diagram.
White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die, use the secret passage, or make a suggestion.
Suggestion. the wrench. So if it is the wrench, I should get another player card. If it's
Mrs.
not
White
Mr.
can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Mrs. White. Alright, we're narrowing it down, guys. Who do you think it is out of the next three? Is it Mrs. Peacock, Mrs. White, or Miss Scarlet?
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, Miss Scarlet's got the revolver for sure. Based on that, because I have the other two cards, she definitely has the revolver. So it's not the
Mrs.
revolver.
Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
I know she's got that.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Alright. Getting close. Everyone's accusing Miss Peacock, and there might be some validity to that. Let's see.
Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet has accused
The
correctly.
PC won one. I was a little too slow. But the PC's up again. The game's 1-1. Alright, so we'll do that again, the same player count. Alright, here we go. Let's skip this if we've watched that already. Let's get right into it. Alright, what cards do I have this time? Oh, this is going to be helpful. I've got
Colonel
three of
Mustard.
the murder weapons.
It is your turn. Please roll the die.
Oh, God. One square. Okay, let's go. Next turn. I really wonder who's going to be this time. But I've got the advantage. I've got most of the murder weapon cards.
Colonel Mustard.
I think that's an
It is
advantage.
your turn.
I'm not going to
Please
get into
roll
a
the
room for a
die.
couple turns here. This sucks. Here we go. Miss White with the rope.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Absolutely.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn.
Oh my
Please
gosh.
roll the die.
Not this turn either. I'm not getting in a room.
Mr. Green can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the ball though. Miss Scarlet with the pipe. Ouch.
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
Oh, immediately disproves it. Alright, let me get into the room. Come on, my turn. Come on. Oh! Professor Plume.
Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Immediately.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Alright, let me
Colonel
get
Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Yeah, let's actually go to the lounge first, because I have the lounge card. This might be a good move.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, it could be. I don't have that card.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Yes, I can. The lounge.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or use the secret passage.
Let's do that.
Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Disproves it. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the conservatory. No, so I'm gonna stay away from it.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Another brutal swing.
Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or use the secret passage.
Let's use the secret passage. Right, who could it be? Let's do Professor Plume again. The revolver. Actually, I think it went through mostly everybody.
Mrs. White
Yeah,
cannot
that
disprove
just
the
can't
suggestion. Mr. Green
he can
can
disprove.
disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, it's probably not in the billiard room. Alright, let's see. Looks like the game's hanging up for a second. Hopefully it'll get going in a minute. Yeah, this is fantastic. Come on.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or use the secret passage. Please roll the die or use the secret passage.
Of course. I gotta get to more accusations. So I
Mr.
can
Green
figure out who it
cannot
is.
disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
Get out in the billiard room. Makes you think it's over there. I don't think it's over there.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
I'm just gonna do that with the revolver. See what happens. Ooh! Oh, I felt that one.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot
Okay, went through two
disprove the
players. They
suggestion.
can't.
Mrs. Peacock
Okay, she
can
can
disprove the
probably
suggestion.
location. Person. Okay, we're narrowing it down, everybody. 3 players to choose from. I got 3 weapons. I really think it's the revolver. No one's showing me that card.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please
Alright,
roll
where do we
the
go
die.
from here?
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion.
We know who it is. We know the murder weapon. It's the revolver. And it's Mr. Green. Now we just need location. Just need location.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, it's not in the billiard room.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Oh! The wrench from
Miss
Professor
Scarlet
Plume.
can disprove the suggestion.
That was brutal. Alright, let's see. We gotta find the right location. Like, I've only been to so many places. But we're gonna head back down into the dining room. Since we know the murder weapon of the player now, so now we can start ruling out the locations. The game's hanging up again. Just have to wait. Yep. Not a fan of this happening from time to time. It seems like an eternity for it to
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or use the secret passage.
Alright, let's throw an accusation up there. Green, the revolver, and the dining room.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs.
Yeah, there we
Peacock
go. One player left to go through.
disprove the suggestion.
And
Mrs.
nobody
Scarlet
can
cannot
disprove
the suggestion.
And I don't have the dining room card, which means everybody. There you have it. We're gonna throw that out there. So it's gonna be green, revolver, in the dining room.
Colonel Mustard has
Yes!
accused correctly.
2 games up on the PC, baby. Yeah, let's go. Here we go. He's just sitting there chilling in his prison cell. Doesn't even want to put on his prison outfit. It's just sitting there all folded at the end. Alright, here we go. So that's 2 games to 1 against the PC. It's first to 3 wins. So now we're probably going to add another player. So it's going to be a full 6-player game. So let's see. Here we go. Add them all in. We're going to have Professor Plume this game. What about the map this time? Alright, all 6. Let's roll. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's see what cards they give us this time. Lounge, Miss Scarlet, Dining Room. So I have a couple location cards. So we'll see
Colonel
how it
Mustard,
goes from here.
it is your turn. Please roll
5.
the die.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright, let's do this. So, everybody playing at home, what's your score versus me? You guys winning? If you are, congratulations.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
It wasn't in the lounge, buddy.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Let's throw it at me. With the rope, let's Man, he looks so angry.
Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Next turn. So it wasn't with the rope. We got uphill battle. Don't have many cards. But when you're playing a 6-player game, you only get 3.
Disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Miss Scarlet. Mr. Green, how could you?
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Had to roll a 2 there, didn't I? I don't believe that happened.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Maybe Miss White. We're all accusing Miss White now. We might have to do the same thing. We might have to do the same.
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Alright. This is fantastic. Now, I wonder who could this be right now. I don't know who this is going to be. Still too early to tell right now.
Colonel Mustard, it is your
let's throw an
turn.
accusation
Please
out
roll
here
the
to see what
die
we can
or
get.
make a suggestion.
Well, let's do Mrs. White. And let's pick some kind of weapon here. Let's do candlestick this time. Let's see what happens.
Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Yep, of course. She's got the candlestick. Alright, so put a tab in there. Okay. Alright, next turn. Ooh, they're accusing me. Revolver.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot
went through
disprove
2
the
people.
suggestion. Professor Plum
3
cannot
people, and
disprove
maybe it's
the
me.
suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Alright.
can disprove the suggestion.
Alright, look at this me right here.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or make a suggestion.
Alright, let's make a suggestion here. Where am I? Am I in the dining room? Yes. Do me with the revolver instead of that. That went through everybody.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss
Wow,
Scarlet
that
can
went through
disprove
everybody.
the suggestion.
I think it's the revolver, but we definitely know it's not me. Scarlet with the revolver in the face.
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
It's not Miss Scarlet. I'm gonna have to
Professor
disprove
Plum
that.
cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Mr. Blue blocked that square and I had to go around him. But now I'm blocking the door for him, he can't go in there.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Might be Mr. Green. I'm gonna accuse Mr. Green next time he rolls around with a revolver.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion.
They're gonna do
Professor
that in
Plum
the
can disprove
lounge. I have the
suggestion.
card for the lounge, and we'll see if anyone can disprove the other two cards. Let's see where we're at. Now, barring I don't get accused anymore. Every time you get accused, it moves you to the room you get accused,
Professor
and you have
Plum
to start your next turn
cannot
there.
disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yes, of course. Professor Blue with the rope.
Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Alright. Let's see what happens here.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot
That's two
disprove
players
the
that went
suggestion.
through.
Mrs. Peacock
3 players
cannot
that went
disprove
through.
the suggestion. Professor
all the way
Plum
to the
can
fourth.
disprove the suggestion.
Mr. Green. It's definitely a revolver. I'm getting player cards. So we know it's not him. So our next move, we'll go to the conservatory. We'll use the secret passage and we'll throw that accusation to another player. So there's 3 left. Who do you think it is out of Professor Plume, Peacock, or Mrs. White? Who do you think it is? So far, the PC is not picking
Mrs.
the right
Peacock
person.
cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
We're getting close. We're getting close. Ooh! Professor Plume.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green can disprove the suggestion.
Was it Professor Plume? I don't know. They're starting to throw accusations at Professor Plume now.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
It wasn't the lounge, everybody.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please, roll the die or use the secret passage.
Professor Plume with a revolver. Let's go. Since everybody's picking him, there might be some...
Mrs.
something
White
to it.
can disprove the
Immediately.
suggestion.
Yep, of course, not the conservatory. Oh, get there. Oh, I overclicked. Come on, there we go. Gotcha. Perfect. Right, next turn. Ooh.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can
Yes, I
disprove
can.
the suggestion.
Go to the dining room. I think the PC's onto him. They're all picking Professor
Professor
Plume.
Plum can disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's a revolver, but it's definitely not there. It's not in the library.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please, roll the die or use the secret passage.
I'll use the secret passage this time. I just want to confirm that it's Professor Plume. So, Plume, the revolver. Now, if it
Mrs.
goes through
White
everybody,
cannot disprove the
then I
suggestion.
know it's him and the
Mr.
revolver.
Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
Wasn't the revolver. Okay, so... I still think it's Professor Plume, though.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Get down to the wire.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Wasn't in the lounge.
Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor
no.
Plum cannot disprove the
PC
suggestion.
got it.
Miss Scarlet has accused correctly.
Computer's up 2 games, tied 2-2. Ooh, it comes down to the final game between me and the PC. Here we go. Alright, let's try this again. Computer's put up a fight here. Alright, this one's for all the marbles. Dining room rope the Scarlet, here we go. Of course she rolls it.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Alright, let's go. Right. Miss Scarlet gets to throw the first accusation. She goes right into the lounge. Right.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs.
Three
Peacock
people.
cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green
Vicious.
cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
This White probably has the ballroom card, I bet.
Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
Alright.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Guess it went through everybody.
Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die or make a suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Okay. We're getting there.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion.
I still have no idea who it is.
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Darn tootin' I can. Alright, here we go.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
That's terrifying.
Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
I kinda knew she had that card. Everybody's heading out of the ballroom. It makes me believe that that's not the location.
Professor Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
Not allowed.
Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet can disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
I'm thinking it's the pipe, and I'm thinking it's Professor Blue because Miss Peacock did that same accusation in the lounge. She has that card, the lounge, and nobody disproved. And each of us only has 3 cards holding. So I don't believe she has the other 2 cards. So I think it's Professor Plume with the pipe and an unnamed location. So let's see if we can find that.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please, roll the die or use the secret passage.
No, we don't want to use it. We need to get it in here. We need to roll the die. For the dining room. Which I have the card for. This will confirm it. If I do Professor Plume with the pipe. And if nobody has any of those 2 cards, then we know for sure that that's him and
Mrs. White
that's the murder
cannot
weapon.
disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet
That's
cannot
confirmed.
disprove
Okay, now
the
we just need to
suggestion.
find location. We gotta hop to it. We gotta find location. I'm gonna make my way down to the kitchen. Or probably the ballroom first, and then the kitchen. So I can then go to the study through the secret passage. Try to get the corners. We'll see what happens. I'm on the right. and so is Mrs. Peacock.
Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion.
Let's It's a race between me and Mr. Peacock.
Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard can disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum can disprove the suggestion.
Where's it again? He's
Colonel
got the knife.
Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
Gotta get to another room. So far, it's pretty much me and Miss Peacock that are on
Disprove the suggestion.
We're on
Mrs. Peacock can disprove the suggestion.
My only hope is I can find the location before she does, or the rest of this. The rest of the computer control players. Let's see.
Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. White can disprove the suggestion.
It's a race. Come on. Let's get my turn back. That's gonna hang up here for a few seconds like it always does. Oh boy. But I don't know, I'm close to seizing this victory. Closing it up for all the marbles. Oh, I can't believe we went to game 5. Oh man. 2-2. It's fantastic. Alright, come on now. Let's go. There we go. This is good.
Miss Scarlet
This is good.
cannot
I'm glad they
disprove
accused her
the
because
suggestion. Colonel Mustard cannot
she's not going to get
disprove the
location.
suggestion.
Because
Mrs. White
Mrs.
can
White has the
disprove
conservatory
suggestion.
card. It's going to take a couple dice rolls. Now, barring that it's not the ballroom. I don't know if someone has the ballroom card. We're going to go there next. And if it's not the ballroom, we're going to the kitchen.
Colonel Mustard, it is your turn. Please roll the die.
So, Professor Plume with the pipe.
Mrs. White cannot disprove the suggestion. Mr. Green cannot disprove the suggestion. Mrs. Peacock cannot disprove the suggestion. Professor Plum cannot disprove the suggestion. Miss Scarlet cannot disprove the suggestion.
Well. Nobody can disprove that. So let's go and make the arrest with the lead pipe and the ball.
Colonel Mustard has
Yes! I beat the computer! Woo! For all the marbles, 5 to 5 games. Heck yeah, baby. You sit there on the John there, Professor Bloom. You think about what you did. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, everybody, that was a fantastic playthrough. I hope you all enjoyed that. I always love this version of Clue, and it's fantastic. The computer gave me a run for my money there. I thought I was going to sweep them, but no, it went right down to the wire. But we took it. We prevailed. We persevered. And yeah, let me know how you guys did in the comments. What was your score over me? Were you successful in guessing correctly before me, and if he did, well done. But anyway, until next time, yeah, everybody have a great Halloween. Fantastic. All right, later, everybody.